This is a special episode for me because I got to, I was honored enough, privileged enough to watch this kid since he was a little bitty kid doing ESA, and that's where I want to start.
I loved it, super. I think I was just super competitive and loved competing, and then that just kind of took me to kind of be a part of ESA North Florida Sunrise Surf Shop. It was fun.
First of all, anyone who's just joining us, I'm sure you know this man, 2001 world champion, CJ Hobgood.
The ESA brought us together, man. We were all ESA alumni. So yeah, he did the ESA, and then obviously we did the ESA. A lot of the Hatteras regionals is in the movie, and but man, it was just, there was so much talent, dude. It was crazy.
Yeah. My first contest I ever surfed was in Ocean City, and I'm almost positive it was an ESA event. I was 6 years old. That's how I evolved in the ESA, as like a mini Grom, and then I was pretty much Southern North Carolina from then on out. And it was like, always look forward to going to all the different places for that. And we got some really good waves during that too, everywhere from VB to Ocean City, Maryland, Indian River Inlet, Delaware. I remember one year was really good. The Mid-Atlantic Regionals, was always like, I look forward to that all year,
Yeah.
And obviously then you get to the championships, and that was like where you saw all the talent on the whole East Coast.
Even though I wanted to be a pro surfer, I didn't really know what that entailed. And it wasn't until I was about 10 that I started doing an ESA contests. Just fell in love with that whole scene of like being with friends and competing and stuff like that. And
so I grew up in a little town called Indian Rocks Beach. We're just about 35 minutes straight to the beach from Tampa. 100%. I was like 8 years old competing in the Gulf Coast District, and we'd have events. And so I'd do those events, and then we'd qualify, obviously, go to the Easterns over on the East Coast. We had a lot of fun, man, going to the Lighthouse back in the day and competing there. I remember having some battles with guys like Dave Dixon, of course, Chad Oxner. I did ESA for a long time. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Probably from age 8 to 15, 16, like right in there before I started doing professional events.
I grew up until high school living in Pennsylvania. So the closest district to me was Central New Jersey. After my parents saw how much we enjoyed the competition, just surfing in general, they actually moved us from our house in Pennsylvania to our shore house down in Ocean City, because they just saw how much we loved surfing. And the ESA definitely had a huge impact in that decision. So I'm forever grateful for the ESA.
I guess I really started surfing when I was 9. I actually lived on a farm until I was 5. And when I moved down here, I was just determined to teach myself how to surf. I think I was about 12, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So I started in Minnehanes and just did our local ESA district. And Julie Hume was running it out at the time. I think I got second in like the first contest and kept doing good. Yeah, it was just a great time, window for all of us.
Yeah, so for me, I was super fortunate because we always lived, at or near the beach. But I first got on a surfboard probably 1964. Learned to surf at 66th Street and 64th Street. Back then, pretty much everybody had a surfboard. And that was actually my first exposure to regular competition. Joined the ESA. But every time they had a contest in Rhode Island, New England, the surf was pumping. It was big. So, and it was a lot of fun. It really was. And super instrumental in not only, developing as a surfer and a competitor, but also learning, really a lot about surfboards, because you're seeing guys who have equipment that's different than yours, and different shapers, different fins. So it was a lot of fun those early days, checking out equipment and meeting guys, surfing against some, super fun.
I started making my own boards when I was about 13 years old, but I started competing, started winning a couple trophies, and thought that was kind of cool, and actually about a year later, I kind of learned about the ESA and what was going on there. And Greg Taylor and Tony Graham were coming back from Hatteras with just all these trophies from the Eastern Championships. And I was like, these big old trophies, I was like, whoa, like, where'd you get that? And, kind of learned that that's where it's at is the ESA. And you really wanted to take your surfing to another level. even from Florida, you can break onto the world stage, and do something in surfing.
First time I saw surfing, I was 7 years old in Hawaii. I wanted to get out there so bad that my mom decided to grab a plastic trash bag and put it on my cast and tape it up at the sleeve and go, okay, go on out there. I know you want to get out there. And I'm hooked ever since. I think it was Bob Roman that told me about it. He said, they have contests, all the time in this organization called the ESA. You should join up and come to one of the contests. It was at the Atlantic Boardwalk. I knew nothing about the ESA championships and Cape Hatteras and all that stuff. I knew nothing about that. We have a slot if you want to surf in the East Coast Championships. I'm like, really? Went up there and surfed my very first East Coast Championships after surfing one contest. I went to every East Coast Championships till I turned pro.